we're going to keep this idea in our brains of X marks the spot. Outside of math, anyone know what X marks the spot means? Treasure, that's right. We're talking about pirates, right? So if you have for those of us that don't know, just so we kind of understand the cultural significance of this, let's say you've got like a treasure map, right? Here's an island. And here's your little boat. And you dock right here on the island. You've got all kinds of like trees and jungle and forests and stuff. On like, I don't know if this is real or if this is just TV stuff, but on pirate maps, you get a map of the island, and wherever the treasure's at, there's a big old red X. And you basically have to go through the map and find that treasure right there. Here's our little treasure chest. Looks like a cupcake, my bad, but that's a treasure chest. All right, so in pirate maps, you follow the little lines, and boom, X marks the spot. So we're going to keep that idea in our head, because like we saw in the warm-up, what we're looking for is the intersection of these two lines. Imagine the two crosses of this X here are the two lines we're going to graph. Whatever point is right there in the center, that intersecting point, that's going to be our solution. So let's say the point of intersection the point of intersection of two linear graphs just means straight lines. Indicates the solution to the system of equations. So instead of hunting for treasure, we're hunting for solutions. Yeah, Ross. Yeah. Morning.
How do you do?
He's not here today.
He's not here? Okay, thank you.
Sorry about that.
Sorry.
Thank you. Oops. That's fine. I got it. Oh, thank you.
Make sure nothing broke, you
No,
know.
the light's still on. It's not broken. It's cheap anyway. Doesn't matter. All right. So let's figure out kind of how we're going to work through this, even though we already saw in the warm-up exactly how we're going to work through this. Let's get some steps down. My first step. Identify M and B. For equation 1 and for equation 2. Our M and our B is like the directions on our treasure map. Our whatever number our B is, that tells us where we begin our treasure hunt. And M tells us how many spaces in each direction we have to go, whether it be up or down, left or right. after we figure out our m and our b for both equations, we got to graph them. Same process we did in the warm-up. Also, let's put in refer back to our 4.3 notes. We're not going to recopy down all those steps. We have those steps just a few pages prior in our lesson 4.3. So we're going to graph each equation, and we're going to follow our slope pattern, that's our rise and our run, to plot as many points on the line as you can. We'll take a look at those 4.3 steps in a second, but our third and final step here is going to be identify the coordinates. That would be x comma y. Of the point where your two lines intersect. This point's coordinates are your solution. Once you get that third step copied down, go ahead and take a few moments to get your first little green graph square glued in. We'll go through our first example together. I'm going to move this down here. So let's say we've got a system. Well, I'm going to let you guys glue. I'm just going to set up my system here. Good morning, Delaney. Thank you, sir. So my system here, we've got y is equal to 2 over 5x plus 2. That's our first equation. And y is equal to negative 4 over 5x plus 8. was I gonna do? Oh yeah. Try your best not to get glue all over the rulers. All right, everyone's got a ruler. We're going to draw some nice straight lines here in a second. Where's my ruler? So my purple equation in the system, we're going to call that equation number 1. My orange one, that's going to be equation number 2. Just like we had up here in step number 1. So my step 1 is identify M and B for equation number 1 and equation number 2. What's my M in equation number 1? 2 over 5. Perfect. What's my B in equation number 1? Positive 2. Remember, B is where we begin graphing. And with my slope, my numerator is my rise, my denominator is my run. What direction are we going to rise with positive 2?
Up.
We're going to rise up. How do we know we're rising up? Because it's positive. 5 is my run. We're going to run to the right. Always going to run to the right. So what number should I look for on the y-axis here to make my first point? 2. Positive 2. First point right there. That's where we begin. From that point, we're going to follow the directions given to us on our little slope treasure map here. We're going to rise 2 spaces up, run 5 spaces to the right, and make our second dot. So from this y-intercept, we're going to rise 2, run over 5, and make our second point. Are we done? Should we just connect those 2 points and draw our line? No, we got to continue this pattern for as much space as we have available to us. So we started, just to recap, we started at the y-intercept. We rose up 2, ran over 5. Now we're going to rise up 2, run over 5 again, and make our third point on this line. You should see, without even drawing that line, those 3 points make a nice straight line. It's a constant slope. That's how we know that this is a linear equation. Now again, if we want to continue this line to the left, we just got to reverse our directions. We got to kind of like retrace our steps here. Instead of going up 2, we'll go down 2 from our y-intercept. And instead of going to the right 5, we're going to go to the left 5 and make our fourth point. One thing you can do is check with your ruler and make sure that all those points are in the same straight line, which in this case they definitely are. If you're even 1 space off, it's going to look super wonky and not make sense. We got space for 1 more, so we'll go down to left 5 again and make our 5th point on this line. You're going to line up all 5 points as precisely as you can and draw your line. Make sure to go all the way through the graph. All those points should be connected. Because we don't have a whole lot of space around our little graph cutout, those arrows should be on the outside of our square. You do this, right? You're 5 points long. So you gotta keep up. Stay with us. See how our lines are looking. Good. Good, getting there. Nice. Yeah. Is this your map? Do you have a map? Can't find it. It's not in your backpack, though. Okay. No, I got it. Thank you. If that process makes sense to you, you remember it for 4.3, go ahead and give equation number 2 a try. Figure out the m and the b, and give me 1 second. We don't want to mix subjects, so we'll classify this one. Okay. So let's keep this as your PE one, because you're going to have to turn that in eventually. And let's start just right here. So leave like first half, leave that, and then glue this in right here. That looks great. That line looks great. Great job. Where's your line? Okay. This is why we probably should wait till afternoon. So the more points we have on the line, when we go to actually draw the line, the more precise it's going to be. If you just have 2 points, it's really easy to get it slightly off, like an angle. So we just want to extend as many points as we can across the whole graph. You'll start at 8, yeah. Down 4. Good. That's right. And because 8 is so high up, we could go up 4, but we'd be off the graph. So that's all the space that we have. We can have those 3. That's right. Those 3 points make your line. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, some of you guys got that one started. That's great. What's my slope in equation 2? What's my m in equation 2, the orange equation? What's my m? Thank you, Karina. -4 over 5. So we're going to rise in what direction?
Up. Down.
-4 means we're rising down. +5 means we run to the right. What's my b equal to for my second equation? +8. That's where we begin. So I go to my graph. I find +8 on the y-axis. Make my first point there. It's about as high up as we can go. Luckily for us, we're rising down. So from this y-intercept, we're going to go down 4 and to the right 5. Look at that. We land right there on that point from our first line. So we've got 2 points right here in that spot. But we got space to continue this pattern, so let's do it. We'll go down 4 again, and to the right 5 again. You'll notice that I'm not doing the little bumps for this lesson because it's going to make our graph really, really messy when we have 2 lines intersecting for us to kind of just jumble up these already tight squares that we have with bumps. So I would just use your eyes to count. It's kind of hard to see, visually, but as long as you're following along, you should be good to go. There's my second line number 2. So we followed 2 sets of directions, our purple M and our orange M, and we can see now on our treasure map right where our solution is. Just like we said at the beginning, X marks the spot. The X formed by our 2 straight lines gives us the coordinates of our solution. So we can say the solution to this system is what? What are the coordinates of that intersection point? Take a look. Take like 10 seconds before we shout it out. I want you to try and figure it out on your own. What are the coordinates of that point? Take a second to take a second to think of it for yourself. Write it down and we'll see what you get. Who could tell me what my coordinates are here for the solution? Roz, go for it. 4, 5? 5, 4. We always want our X coordinate to go first. This point lines up at 5 on the X. Let me zoom in here so we can see really close. There we go. So this point here lines up at 5 on the X axis. And it lines up at 4 on the Y axis. I'm going to make some little dots here so you can see what I'm talking about. 4 on the Y axis. 5 on the X axis. Whenever we're writing a coordinate pair, my X coordinate goes first because in the alphabet X comes first. So my solution here will be 5, 4. We can box up that point, 5, 4. That's our solution, also known as our answer. Quick show of thumbs, how much sense is this making? Thumbs up if it makes perfect sense. Thumbs sideways if it makes a little sense. Thumbs down if it makes no sense. Okay, I see a good amount of thumbs sideways. That means we should definitely do a second example. Anyone still copying this down?
No.
Perfect. If not, this video will be up by the time you get home. Just fill in any of the gaps that you have on your own. So, next example. Let's glue in our square here. This will honestly probably take us to the end of the class because it's Thursday.
Yay.
So, we'll hold off on getting 29 until tomorrow. Hooray. 2 days in a row without homework? What's happening?
Yes. No, bad.
It's the PSAT, man. Whenever the
I know.
schedule gets all flipped up, everything gets thrown off. Like those 2 random minimum days we had in term 1, remember that?
Oh yeah, it was.
Threw everything off. I didn't even feel like myself.
I mean, hey,
I'm a very schedule-oriented person. Yeah.
When we're done with these, are you going to collect them or are we going to put them in here?
You can put the rulers back in there once we're done, yeah. But let's get through this one first. All right, so let's say our system here. For our first equation, we'll go y is equal to negative 3 over 2x plus 1. And our second equation will go y is equal to x minus 4. This will be a nice little review for us because our slope in the second equation is going to be a little weird. This is the question here. This little squiggly part. Okay. So equation 1 in purple. What's my m for equation 1?
Negative 3 over 2.
Negative 3 over 2. Thank you. Negative 3 says that we're going to rise in what direction? Down. How do we know we're going down?
Because negative.
Because it's negative. 2 tells us we're going to run what direction? To the right. We always run to the right. Unless we're backtracking. What's my b in equation 1? Positive 1. So at what number on the y-axis should we begin? 1. Our b tells us where to begin. So let's go ahead and get this one graphed. We start at positive 1 on the y-axis. There's my first point. From that point, we're going to go down how many spaces? 3 spaces down. And then how many spaces to the right? 2. 1, 2, 3 over 1, 2. Boom. There's my second point. We got a whole lot of space left on our graph, so let's continue this pattern by going down 3 over 2, down 3 over 2. 1, 2, 3 over 1, 2. 1, 2, 3 over 1, 2. That's about as much space as we can cram this in for the bottom part of our graph. Then we head back up to the y-intercept, and we'll go the opposite direction. Instead of down 3, right 2, we'll go up 3, left 2. So back to our y-intercept. We're going to go up 1, 2, 3, left 1, 2. I'm going to double check and make sure that point falls in line with all my other points, and it sure in fact does. Up 1, 2, 3. Left 1, 2, up 3, left 2. All those points there give us a very, very straight line, as accurate and precise as we can possibly make it. So let's connect them all up and draw our line. Just like that. For my second equation, what's the numerator for my slope here? Well, actually, what's my slope in front of this x? 1. So we're going to put 1 over 1. We're going to rise up 1 and run right one, but where do we begin?
0.
0?
No, 1.
What's my B?
-4.
-4 is where we begin. So make my first point at -4. Up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. Continue that pattern all the way up. Go ahead and continue that pattern down to the left as well. And then see if you can identify the coordinates of our solution. We only have a couple minutes left, so I got to count Spirit before we get out of here. But finish this up on your own. I believe in you guys. You got it. You got Spirit over here. White, white, white. That's white. Yeah. Let me see. 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 16. White. Okay. And white. Cool. You got Spirit today. Yeah, that's, well, yeah. Yeah. How you wearing one? Very nice. Perfect. Yeah. Nice. Just trying to say something.
You run some
Cultural things. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. Well, he's not here, so. Cultural. Perfect. Wearing white. Awesome. How do you wear white? You wearing orange? Perfect. Oh, nice. Yeah, that's orange. Yeah, that's great. It's gray. Okay, fine. We got this one. Are you wearing white? Perfect. Wearing white or orange? White or orange? There's like 90% chance to wear white socks. Look at that. Oh, geez. One. You're out of culture yet. Brooklyn, you wearing white or orange?
I'm technically wearing white.
All right, what'd you get for your solution here? 2, -2, right there. If we connect these up real quick. Boom, my solution is right there at 2, -2. All right.